Hey there, YouTube. It's 3 o'clock on the dot. I just got to the club, and before this, I was at the store, a store. And then after leaving the store, oh, now it's 3:01. After leaving the store on my way over here, I was checking the time on my phone, and I was like, oh, I think I might be able to start my stream at 3 o'clock on the dot today. You know, like I figured the time might work out that way, and turns out it did. And not only that, but I am parked in my second favorite parking spot today. First one to the left, here at the club. Yep, just got here. I'm about to start my shift in about an hour. Oh gosh. Oh. Today is Tinka Tuesday. As is pretty much every Tuesday for me, or, well, particularly the Tuesdays that I'm able to come on here and do a video. So yes, it's Tinka Tuesday, and it's also the first Tuesday of March for 2026. So yeah, it's funny. Yes, I did just get to the club, like I said, but before this, yeah, I was at the store, and when I got out of the store that I was in, I, you know, obviously was walking through the parking lot back to my car, and I looked over at the car next to me. Well, so the car next to me that was parked like right on the other side of me, there was this music playing pretty loud. It was a song that I recognize. I was gonna say I don't remember which one it was. I do remember the song, I just don't know what the name of it is. I don't know what it's called, I don't know who sings it, but I do recognize it from here at the club. It's been played here at the club before. So yeah, it's like a kind of like a hip-hop kind of song, and it was playing pretty loud. So as I was hearing it walking over to my car, I was like, gee, I can't wait to look into their window and see like who it is in there that's listening to that. And so when I look into their car, it's this little kid. It's this little child, this little boy with like, you know, he was so cute. He looked like he couldn't have been older than like, I don't know, probably not even a teenager. He was pretty young. So I'm just thinking like, I wonder who his parents are, or he must have pretty cool parents, or, I mean, he was jamming, and for a moment I was almost like, I kind of wanted to start my stream there in the parking lot and like film him a little bit, or like roll down my window and be like, try to get his attention and be like, hey, do you want to come on my stream with me? But I don't know. That probably wouldn't have been a good idea. Whoever his parent was probably would have come out and been like, what are you doing? But he was cute. He looked like he was having so much fun. And also, yeah, I knew that I was going to be driving like over to the club here after that. And I've done, you know, a few driving streams before, but the last one that I tried to do, the connection was interrupted, and most of that stream and that video did not post. So ever since then, I've been really anxious about doing driving streams. I'm pretty sure the reason that one messed up is because of the area that I was in. It's kind of like going through, it's an area that I don't drive through or to as often, to or through. Um, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just not in the general area where I usually am, near the club and closer to the apartment that I stay at. Um, anyway, yeah, I was, as usual, like, pretty much always when I'm on my way into the club or like doing anything else, pretty much too, actually, like, I'm tired and stressed out and just like, oh my gosh, just like, just so tired and stressed out. So I was feeling, like that, like getting out of the store and trying to rush back to my car and stuff. But then seeing him just seeming so happy and having a nice time like that kind of put me in a little bit of a better mood. I was kind of thinking, like, I feel like if I were to have a child, they would probably be kind of like that. Um, at least until they got old enough to like be an adult and have to get a job and enter into the real world. And then they'd probably be cranky and miserable like me. But maybe not. I don't know. Um, uh, but who knows? I'll probably never know or never find out, but oh well. Well, we are supposed to get snow today. It's a cloudy day, very gray, very cloudy, kind of one of those, kind of a bummer kind of feel to it, kind of day today. Yesterday was nice and sunny, um, which was nice, of course, but yeah, now it's just back to this, back to gray clouds. And I think we're supposed to get, I don't know, between like 4, 5, 6 inches of snow tonight. So I'm not looking forward to that. I'll probably be here at the club pretty much all night, or, until we close. I think most of the snow that we're supposed to get tonight is probably going to be within that time frame, like while I'm here at the club. So I am really anxious about getting back to my apartment, or getting back to the apartment that I stay at afterwards. Sometimes the plow people will kind of clear out a little bit of snow for the entrance into the driveway for that building that I've been staying at for a little while. But I remember the last storm that we had like a week or so back, they did not do that. And when they don't do that, whatever snow they plow out of the main road, like next to that area, that snow just seems to get pushed into the driveway entrance. So it all gets like really chunky, heavy, thick, extra frozen kind of like snow that just accumulates there and builds up into this like kind of wall. It feels like practically a brick wall when I'm trying to shovel it away. But yeah, the last storm that we had pretty recently, it was like that, it was just all that built up extra thick, heavy snow. And none of the other people in the building, that was actually during the day. Yeah, that storm was not at night. That storm was kind of like earlier in the day. So none of the other people in the building seemed like they needed to go out. They all seemed to just work from there, like rather than having a job that they have to drive to. So, it was just me out there shoveling this huge like wall of snow pretty much. It took me a while, and I also did practically the entire driveway that day to try to, because I wanted to try to have a parking spot when I got back and stuff. And if I just shovel my parking spot, usually sometimes somebody else will take that when I'm at work. So, you know, it's just the usual over here. It's, um, uh, but I don't know, just in case, if I'm not able, for whatever reason, if the storm's really bad, if I'm not able to shovel that snow like I did last time, or yeah, if depending on what happens, like I brought my sneakers, so just in case I have my sneakers, so at least the gym's open tonight, I'm pretty sure, because today is, yeah, Tuesday, so most of the days of the week and most of the nights of the week, aside from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I guess Planet Fitness, where I am, is usually open 24 hours the rest of the nights of the week. So, you know, if if there's issues, you know, back at the apartment that I sleep at, I guess maybe I could just go to the gym, although I really don't want to have to do that after a 10-hour shift. But at least it's an option, you know. I want to think, I'm hoping it will be, just in case. I'm also wearing my belt. So I always try to remember to wear this belt when we're going to be getting snow so that I can clip my keys onto the side of the chain here. I'm always really scared to not have my keys on me at all times. So I would never want to just, because my bag is pretty heavy, very heavy actually. So I don't want to have to wear my backpack, my big heavy backpack on my back when I'm shoveling the snow. So I'll try to just put that in my car, but I would never want to leave my keys clipped onto that like I normally would when my bag's on my person. So, you know, because I don't want to have my keys on my bag and then close the car doors. Like, what if the car doors just locked on them, like locked themselves, like locked my bag in here with the keys in? Um, Most people probably wouldn't have to worry about that kind of thing, but the way things seem to be for me, I would not be surprised in the slightest if that kind of thing were to happen. Anything electronic seems to be hacked and just messed with for me. So my car, my phone, everything seems to just have a mind of its own, or it's controlled by something not very nice. So I definitely feel like my car would lock itself like that if my keys were in here. That would absolutely seem like something that would happen to me. So I really just, I'm always so thrilled when I'm able to remember to wear this belt so I can clip my keys on here. So when I'm out and about just shoveling and shoveling and shoveling, I can just keep my bag in my car and shut the doors and just shovel away. I am a little congested right now. Yeah, I've been mentioning a lot lately that the club here that I've been working at, or just dancing at for a while, they use the smoke stuff that I'm allergic to. It does make me a little bit congested. A lot of times it makes me very congested. But I was saying in my video yesterday, like, oh, it's fine. I've built up such a tolerance at this point. I've worked on building a tolerance to it to the point where it's like basically an immunity now. Like, I'm just immune to it now and it's no big deal. And basically everything that I said in that video was a lie. That's just me lying to myself and lying out loud. I'm still allergic to it. It's disgusting. The amount that they use, it's just pumping into the air nonstop. And visually, it feels like you're trapped in a burning building. Or I feel that way because you're looking around the room and all you see is smoke. You know, it's like the smoke in the air, it feels like you're in a building that's on fire. Or I don't know why I'm using the second person or third person. It feels like I'm in a building that's trapped on, like, just on fire. Like, there's just smoke everywhere. So visually and psychologically, it's very distressing to me. And then it smells weird. Like, I'm breathing heavy because I'm working out on the pole. I'm really like dancing fast and I'm trying to get a workout here. And so obviously, like, you know, when you exert yourself and you're trying to exercise, you breathe heavier usually. So it's like I'm just breathing in this disgusting stuff that looks weird, smells awful, and it does make me very congested. So I apologize for being so disgusting. It's like extra gross right now. It's like I can't breathe properly. And I woke up earlier today with a headache. It's just disgusting. I mean, it makes me feel like the people that work here, like, they can't possibly even be human, because how is nobody else bothered by this? They're just so nonchalant. They just don't care about their health, or, you know what I mean? Their lack of concern for their own health is just lacking to the point, like, their concern for their own health is lacking to the point where they just don't care, like, because they're breathing that in too, I'm pretty sure, unless they're just not even human. They're just like something else. Maybe I've just seen too many weird movies, like a lot of people probably have this day and age, you know, about like science fiction, but also technology these days. Like, I feel like anything crazy could be possible, you know, mostly bad stuff, unfortunately, but maybe good stuff too. But oh, it's really gross. It's just, oh, it's so unnecessary. Like, last night was not busy. I did a video from the club last night, so I think around 11 o'clock I went into the private dressing room in the club and did a drink review. And then towards the end of that drink review, I was saying how it sounded like I was hearing my name called for me to go on stage. And I was like, well, that's weird, because that video was only about 26 minutes, so under half an hour, which for me is definitely on the shorter side. And before I went into the dressing room to do that stream, I was saying, you know, like, I checked the DJ board. I had just been on stage before I went to do that video. And then there was probably 8, 9, 10 other dancers that were supposed to be after me to go on after I was just getting off stage to go do that stream. So, and we were doing 3-song sets. So each song is about 3 minutes. So let's just round up for 10 minutes. So, well, okay, if there were 9 dancers, nine times 9 is 81, right? So if we're doing 3-song sets, there's 9 dancers doing 3 songs each. So 9 dancers, they're supposed to be dancing on stage for 9 minutes each. Yeah, 9 times 9 is 81. But I've mentioned also quite a few times before on here, like on my channel and other videos, a lot of dancers here at the club don't go on stage. Or, you know, a lot of them are either upstairs in VIP or out back doing a lap dance. Or they just a lot of times don't want to go on stage and just won't do it. Especially if it's not busy. So yeah, last night, towards the end of that drink review video that I did, I was like, why am I hearing my name already? But then I kind of thought about it and I was like, well, I guess that, you know, could be the case, because it was very, very slow. When I went into the dressing room to do that video, there was one guy that I saw in the club. I mean, maybe there was somebody else for customers, like, yeah, upstairs in VIP or out back doing a dance. But as far as I could see out in the main area of the club, like near the stage and stuff, I saw one guy by the bar, and there were other dancers like already keeping him company, talking to him and stuff like that. So I kind of just figured it was slow. There's that one guy. I figured it would be a good time for me to go in and do that quick little video. But yeah, so they were calling my name for me to go back out on stage. And so, but when I got back out there, When I went in that dressing room to do that video, the smoke was not on. It had been on very briefly earlier for maybe just a few minutes. And then, but yeah, that was just kind of brief. And then when I went in to do that video, the smoke was off. But when I came back out, the smoke was back on. So I was like, yay, you know. But I still went on stage, you know, because I just try to be professional. Like, it definitely does not come naturally to me. But I still try, you know. So, you know, I still went back on stage with all that smoke on there. There was nobody out there. There wasn't, actually, it was really weird because, well, not like weird or abnormal, but it was still a kind of creepy feeling. I'm used to this feeling because most of the shifts that I do here are so slow, but when I first went back out there to go on stage, I walk out into the main area of the club towards the stage. I look to my left towards the bar. That guy that had been there when I went into the dressing room to do my stream, he was no longer there. There was nobody there. There was nobody, not one single soul, not one person by the bar, not one person anywhere else in the entire room that I could see. Like behind me, there was a floor host, and I think the DJ was in the DJ booth. So at least there were like some other people there, but facing out towards the rest of the club, I didn't see a single person, not a dancer, not a customer, like nobody. And it was just an empty room. And it was a really weird feeling. But I still went on the stage, and not only that, but I stayed up there as usual. I do this very often. I stayed up there for extra songs because after my regular 3-song set that we would normally do, the next dancer was called and she didn't come on. And then the next dancer was called and she didn't come on. So, you know, there were multiple other dancers that were supposed to be coming on after me that didn't show up. Nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found, I guess. And so I just stayed up there extra. You know, I've mentioned also quite a few times before on my channel and my videos that I mostly come into the club to try to get a workout. The genetics of my family line are not great, and I just don't want to be like my mom or my gram. I just don't want, I love them so much, but I just don't want to be like them as far as like when they got older. I don't know. I just like to work out. I don't like it otherwise, but I love to dance. I love to be on stage, and I just don't want to let myself go. I am pushing 40, so I just really, I can be very lazy when I'm at my apartment, or my landlord's apartment, excuse me, it's not mine. You know, I can be very lazy otherwise, like I'm always so tired and just sore. So I feel like at least here at the club, the environment here is very conducive to, you know, getting a workout for me. I mean, for anyone that has that mindset like I do coming in here. Oh, there's a nice big white van pulling in next to me. Oh, I recognize him actually. He's gonna park right there. At least he's not parking next to me, like get away from me. Yep, keep backing up. Further away from me, okay. So, oh gosh. I'm so congested. Isn't this sexy? Like, as if I don't already feel sexy enough. Like, so yeah, I'm just dancing away up there, trying to get my workout. I tell myself the same thing when I'm shoveling snow, you know, shoveling all my neighbors' parking spots as well, you know, shoveling the entire driveway by myself a lot of times. Oh, it's exercise, you know. thanks to the women that came before me for these excellent genetics to where I feel like I have to try to get exercise any way that I can. Oh. Anyway, so yeah, yesterday's shift was not great. Similar to almost every shift that I do here at this club is not great, you know, is I'm still in one piece though right now. I knew it was too good to be true yesterday, because yesterday they had also been using smoke the night before that. And I was like, wow, it's so weird. I actually feel okay right now. I wasn't congested. I felt fine. And I was like, this isn't going to last. I was like, this is too good to be true. Because up until yesterday, I've always had very bad reactions to that smoke stuff. I mean, like, I'm very allergic to it. It's overused so much. Like, they don't need to run it nonstop the way that they do. There's no windows here. There's no ventilation. It's non-stop at a very high, like a lot at a time, just constantly going and going and going. And just, I mean, there was nobody there at the club last night. Like, no matter how much smoke you pump into the air, it's not gonna just magically make customers appear. Like, that's not the way it works, I'm pretty sure. So I could be wrong, but in my opinion, it's one thing if there's people here at the club, because then I can understand, like, you're trying to put on a show. You're trying to entice the people that are here to feel more interested and engaged in the performance and just the vibe, like the strip club vibes. It makes sense, at least to me, that way. Whereas if there's nobody here at the club, you're wasting that product. You're wasting that smoke stuff. You're wasting the electricity to run it. You're wasting the product itself. You're for the dancers that don't like it, like myself, or that are very allergic to it, like myself, like, it's just so unnecessary. Maybe I will just call OSHA back. It's been so long since I only talked to them like one time, once or twice, probably over 5 years ago at this point. It was over 5 years ago, actually, because it was back in 2020 that I talked to them about this. And I never really followed up with them or talked to them about it since then. As usual, I was just trying my best to get over it and push through it as I could, but it's just, so many dancers here at this club come and go. So it's not really a big deal for people like that. Employees and dancers, they come and they go. It's like a revolving door. Whereas for me, I've been here for so long. I've worked here for many, many years. And this issue for me I feel like it's been the main reason that's kind of prevented me from being able to make money here, but also from really even feeling able to try, like, to push myself to try to make money here, because I'm just trying to stay away from that smoke stuff as much as I can. And in the past, like pre-COVID, when the economy wasn't as destroyed, you know, whatever little money that I was making back then, I was just giving to the DJs that used to work here at that time, like other DJs. There were two that were just abusing my allergy, that situation, for me to give them all the money that I had, whatever little money I had made at that time. Whereas now it's like I just don't even really bother, because there's just nobody here. Most of the shifts that I work, there's not even any guys for me to try to talk to anyways, or the ones that might be here, either they don't want to talk to me or I don't want to talk to, like, they just maybe creep me out too much, or other dancers get to them first if they don't creep me out too much for me to try to talk to them. It's just a bad situation for me, and it has been for so long, and it really just, I was trying to be so positive in my video yesterday, but yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I knew that most of that was just me lying to myself, you know, like, it's 3:30 on the dot. I do try to do that. I try so hard to be positive, but realistically, it's just, I can only do so much, you know. It's one thing for me to try to be positive when, for whatever weird reason, I was able to breathe okay yesterday. Like, I actually felt okay yesterday. And that was very abnormal for me though, because again, I usually have this very bad reaction. So today it's a lot more difficult for me to try to be positive like that when I can barely breathe. You know, I can barely breathe right now. And I know going in there, when I go in to sign in there, it's going to be costing me money. I pay to work here, and I'm paying to go be poisoned pretty much. I'm paying to get sick. I'm paying to be in this horrible situation to try to get a workout. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what else to do with myself. Like, I could be trying to work on the book that I've been trying to write for like 2 decades, but honestly, I don't have any hope for that. I've given up on that. Not 100% given up on it. I will try to go back to that and work on it here and there again if I could, you know, if and when I can manage to do so, but my apartment has been so cold. You know, I don't have the heat on. I haven't had the heat on for, this is the 4th winter in a row. So, and yeah, just me not making money here, living off of what little savings I have left. I'm trying to be in that apartment as little as I can, you know, to try to not spend as much money like on the electricity and, you know, whatever foodstuffs I have there. When I'm not there, I'm able to save them there. Like, it's, you know, it's just a very poor, pathetic way to exist. And I just don't know how to try to fix any of this, unfortunately. It's pretty awful. Like, at least when I'm here at the club, yeah, I'm paying to work here, but at least I don't have to worry about the electricity here. Like, I can charge my phone and I don't know, maybe put on the space heaters and stuff. I'm warmer here at the club. Like, even if I'm not near a space heater, or a lot of times the rest of the club is so cold, but in that case, I can just at least go on stage, go on the pole, get a workout, warm myself up that way, you know. So I try to just be thankful for that stuff, think of the positives and that kind of thing as best I can, but man, it is really frustrating. And it's like this, like, I hate not being able to breathe so much. It's just, this is awful. And nobody else, none of the other dancers were really bothering to go on stage last night. And that's such a common thing here. That's such a normal, common occurrence that happens almost every shift that I do. And it's like, so I don't have to go on stage either, I would want to think. I can just be the same way. But again, I want that workout. I'm here to get a workout. Like, I don't do everything that I do. It's such a hassle for me to get in here, especially not having heat in the apartment that I stay at. It's so much work for me just to try to get to the club. And I don't even, the apartment that I stay at isn't even very far from here. So, but it's still so much for me to get myself in here. So when I'm here, it's like, all right, well, if I'm not going to be able to make money, I at least want to get something out of it as best I can, like the electricity, maybe do some videos in the parking lot here like this, or in the dressing room, you know, get a workout at least, use that stage, use that pole, because it is, you know, a lot of times really enjoyable for me to be up there, although not when the smoke is going like that. So anyway, and yeah, my favorite manager, he was here last night. He was here the night before on Sunday. He's going to be leaving very shortly, in a couple of months, at the end of April. And it's going to be I don't know how, it's going to be so much more difficult for me to try to focus on the positives, like me being able to enjoy myself on stage sometimes, or a lot of times when he's here. When he's no longer here, I'm just really wondering if I'm going to be able to get any kind of enjoyment on stage anymore like I do now when he's here. I can still do it when he's not here sometimes, but it's so much more of a thing that happens when he is here. Like, yeah, last night I was able to get into the zone. So that was before they put the smoke on and before the actual DJ got here. So before the actual DJs get here, it's usually the managers that will be in the DJ booth. So yeah, earlier on in the shift when he got here, I had already been here for a couple of hours. So he got in, I think, around like 6 or 7. So yeah, I had been here at the club, and up until when he got here, when I had been here earlier on in the afternoon after doing my video, you know, like 5, 6 o'clock around there, that was still considered technically day shift. And so he hadn't gotten here yet at that point, and it was just terrible, terrible lighting on stage, what I call the cellulite lights. And so and just the music was not the kind of music that really gets me going. It's not that I didn't like the music, it's just that it was not high energy, or what I would consider to be high energy. It was what I would just call day shift music, like average kind of day shift, just kind of mellow, just like it makes me tired, you know what I mean? It's just more tired than I already am. It just adds to that tired feeling, just kind of like, oh, like, you know. But then when he got here, and he used to even do this for his day shifts, so that's what I would call regular day shift music. But the day shifts that this favorite manager of mine used to do in the past, he would have totally different day shift music, to where I was specifically coming in for his day shifts just because of how great his day shifts were. But that's very, very normal. I can't imagine any other manager that works here. There's 5 other managers other than him that work here right now. I can't imagine any of those other managers having a day shift be like his day shifts were. His day shifts were a blast. And I was coming in specifically for him for those shifts. Otherwise, I would never have done those day shifts, probably. Whereas, yeah, any other day shift, any other manager working a day shift, it's gonna be what you would probably consider a day shift to be like, just slow, boring, a total drag. So yeah, when I first got here to the club yesterday, that's how it was. And they had the cellulite lights, the slow, boring music. I was just like, oh my gosh. And then he got here and he did whatever he does in the DJ booth, and I was activated. My happy's place, my happy zone, the zone that I'd like to get in. Again, I can do it sometimes without him being here, but he just has the magic touch that knows how to do it, really well. So yeah, that happened. That happened when he got here, and I was like, yay! And I got into the zone, and I was just getting that workout. I was, but in a fun way, in an enjoyable way, where I was like, yes! And I was just going and going and loving every minute of it, and that was awesome. That's like the best feeling ever, pretty much. I mean, that's amazing. And that was before they put the smoke on and stuff. So I don't know what I'm gonna do when he leaves. I really don't. It's gonna be a whole other thing. I might even just move myself, you know, but we'll see how it goes. I really don't know yet. But man, oh gosh. It's kind of funny too, because when I left on Sunday night, I noticed there were these 3 spare dollars stuck above this little ledge they have near the stage. So sometimes, depending on where they're at, if they're towards the front of the ledge, I can sometimes reach them by standing on the arms of a chair, like balancing one leg on each armrest of a chair. And obviously I have to wait till the end of a shift to do this, but I'll stand on the arms of a chair, reach up and try to reach back and get them, if they're more close to the front of it, to where I can reach better, because I am on the shorter side. But if they're further back, I really can't reach them. Even standing on a chair, I still can't reach them. So the dollars that I saw up there were 3 of them. I saw those on Sunday night, and they were all much further back, towards the very back of that thing. So I knew that I wasn't going to be able to reach them. And so coming into my shift yesterday, I remembered that at one point, one of the floor hosts had actually gotten a little ladder to try to reach them when they saw me trying to reach them in the middle of a shift. Normally I try to wait till the end of a shift, but if there's really nobody here, sometimes I can't stop myself. So at one point, not that long ago, he saw me doing that, probably around this time when I had just gotten to the club, like, you know, in the afternoon. So after the club had already been open for some time. So he saw me standing on the chair trying to reach the dollars, and I couldn't reach them. So he was like, the manager asked me to get a ladder. But this ladder is very small. It's not like a regular size ladder, it's a shorter one. And so, you know, I had already missed out on $1 last week. Oh, because last Friday I did a day shift, and I can only see if there's dollars stuck up there when I'm on the pole. So last Friday when I did a day shift, I was on the pole and there was $1 up there that time. And that one was actually closer to the front, so I probably could have reached that one if I had stood on a chair like I do sometimes. But that Friday day shift, it was a little bit busier, like there were actually people here. So, and I wasn't going to be staying for that night shift. So I never really had a chance to try to get that $1. You know, it was just too busy for me to try to get it. So I had to just leave it there. And then I was like, maybe it'll still be there when I get back to the club on Sunday, but it wasn't. But on Sunday, there were the $3 other towards the back. So yeah, coming in for my shift yesterday on Monday, I had remembered those $3 from the previous night, you know, Sunday night. And I was like, I wonder if I could maybe try to find that little ladder. And I was like, if I find the ladder, I will try to remember to make a point at the end of the shift. I was gonna wait till the end of the shift, but I was like, at the end of the shift, I'll just go get the ladder if I'm able to like move it and carry it by myself. Because I thought, based on the size of it, I was like, I might be able to move that myself. And so I was like, if I can, I will, at the end of the shift, I'll get the ladder, I'll bring it over, and I'll get those $3. Because they were still on my brain, you know? So immediately coming into the club yesterday, I went and I looked for the ladder and I was able to find it. It was right near the coffee machine. So I checked the ladder to see if I could lift it, and I could. It was probably like barely taller than me, you know, just probably, I don't know, I didn't count, but I'm guessing like between 4 and 5 steps. It was a smaller ladder, so I could lift it, and I tried moving it across the floor, and I could. I was like, I would definitely be able to carry this over to the stage area at the end of the shift. So I was super excited, and knowing that I would be able to move that ladder myself. And so later, shortly after that, I climbed the pole. Ooh, excuse me, when I went on stage. And later on in that shift, when I was climbing the pole, I looked into that ledge area from the top of the pole to see if the dollars were still there. I thought they would have been, because they were, especially since they were closer to the back, but they weren't there anymore. So I was so disappointed. I was so bummed out. I was like, I had been so ready to, like, you know, wait till the end of the shift to get that ladder and get those dollars. At least now I know, though. So that was a bummer, obviously, but at least now I know in the future, if I see dollars up there anytime ever again, hopefully that ladder stays where it was. Even if it doesn't, I will just try to ask someone where it is. But at least I know going into the future that I'm able to move that ladder by myself. So rather than having to like try to stand on a chair, on the arms of a chair, and balance myself that way and like lift myself onto the ledge, because that's really difficult for me, you know, like so at least I know for the future, I guess. But I'm trying to picture any other dancer in the history of strippers ever doing this kind of stuff, and I just can't. I don't think anybody else would ever bother with this kind of ridiculousness, because most other strippers probably seem to actually do well and make money, and I just don't. So but, so any dollar I can find up there, like, to not have to beg some other, like, to, you know what I mean, to not have to beg for $1 from some guy here, if I can just find one like that, it's like, yay. Anyway, so yeah, overall really not that eventful of a shift yesterday. Although another thing that I wanted to mention, there's 2 other things that come to mind right now. I met this guy. So yeah, most of the shift last night was very dead, very slow, really nobody here. But earlier on, before it was like completely slow and completely dead, I met a guy at the end of the bar, and he he was with another guy and he introduced himself and he said that he was a pilot and he looked very young. So I was like, oh wow, like I'm very interested in stuff like airplanes. And like I did a video recently near the airport where I was like, should I be a pilot? Like, because I've always loved earmuffs and I wear my earmuffs a lot. And I realized recently when I was at the airport, like, well, near the airport, not at the airport, but near the airport, I was like, oh my gosh, don't pilots wear stuff like this that kind of looks like, almost looks like earmuffs? And I was like, oh my gosh, they do, don't they? So that was really exciting to me. So I thought it was really interesting. He said he was a pilot and he was like, I just flew in from Alaska or something. But then it got more interesting to me because he said that he owned part of the club, or he said basically something along those lines, but he looked very young. So when I picture like the higher ups for the club, I always picture like pretty old, like old guys, you know, like I don't really know obviously, but I just picture much older guys, like old, you know, with like the gray hair and stuff. But I was like, really? Like he looked really young. And then he was like, yeah, for every lap dance that happens here at the club, I get like 10% or whatever. And for me, I'm just really bad at math, so I don't even like know how much that would be. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then we talked some more and he like said something. I was like, have you ever seen me dance before or that kind of thing? And he was like, oh yeah, like I've seen your file. And I was like, what? And I was like, hopefully he was just messing with me. I was like, my file? I was like, what are you talking about, my file? Like normally when I think of somebody like having a file, I think of like police type stuff, like on the books, like people that have a criminal history, which I kind of do actually, but we won't go there. We won't go there right now because that's not a happy subject for me whatsoever. I might be laughing right now, but it's really not very funny, actually. So anyway, when he used that terminology, I was like, what? Please be messing with me right now. Although also stop, please. You know, like we don't need to, like, why? Just stop. He was like, yeah, I've seen your file. I was like, my file? My file? Really? I have a file here. That's concerning. So, and then I was like, oh yeah, can I ask how old you are? Because you look really young. He said he was 38. So that's 1 year older than me. I actually will be turning 38 later this year, which is insane to me as well. But yeah, that really freaked me out too, because I'm really scared of like every human pretty much, but especially older people, like people older than me and just like older people in general. But I was thinking about it and I was like, you know, if there's one thing that, not one thing, but if there's yet another thing that freaks me out even more than like older guys and like rich people, it would probably be guys that are closer to my own age. That freaks me out a lot too. Like, because I just know the older I get, the more messed up I feel and the more just messed up, jaded, etc. The list goes on. Just, and my generation, I'm not quite sure how to put it, but when he said that, I really felt freaked out. I was like, oh gosh. He seemed nice enough. And he was kind of cute. Like he looked he looked much younger than that though. So in a way I was kind of like, oh, like way to represent like, you know, the later 30s age group. Cause yeah, I would have guessed that he was probably like early 30s, maybe even 20s. He looked very young, to me. So but he probably was just messing with me. He probably, for all I know, he could have been some guy that just had like seen me on my YouTube and like just wanted to say stuff that he knew would get under my skin and freak me out. So I don't really know, but yeah, that was kind of weird to me. And okay, so the other thing that I wanted to mention for last night. So I was mentioning a little bit earlier how even though towards the end of the night, basically once I got out of the dressing room after doing my live review for the drink that I was doing a review for, After I got out of there, so shortly after 11:30 or so, the smoke was back on and it was just pumping out continually nonstop for the rest of the shift, for, hours. And so, but yeah, like when I got back out, pretty much from that point on, nobody else was really going on stage. There was nobody really there at the club. It was very, very dead. The few people that were there, I think were upstairs in VIP or yeah, like doing a lap dance, maybe outside smoking a cigarette. It was just, pretty much a dead zone. For most of the rest of the night, and especially towards the very end of the night, like the last hour, hour and a half. This happens a lot for the shifts that I do. It's happened many, many times in the past where the last hour, hour and a half will just be, yeah, completely dead, completely just hardly anybody there at all. So that happened again last night, and the smoke was still going and going and going and going nonstop. So again, I didn't have to be on stage, but I went up for the time that my name was called to, again, try to be professional and all that. But then after that, yet again, the next dancers called on didn't come on for their turn. So I just stayed up there because I wanted to keep getting a workout. And I did kind of want to, because I had actually felt okay earlier that day, because the night before the smoke was being used and I pushed myself to stay on stage and keep dancing. And I actually felt surprisingly okay yesterday. So last night I wanted to think that it was all better and I was just gonna feel okay today too, which obviously again I don't, but I'm very congested right now. Woke up with a headache and that kind of thing. So anyways, but I wanted to try to stay hopeful for the end of last night. So I was just staying on stage with all that smoke and I was just dancing and dancing and dancing away. And I thought that I was doing pretty good. The pole wasn't too terribly slippery, but so I was on stage for probably at least an hour or more doing that. And at one point, because it was especially cold again last night and the night before. So yeah, when I got back to the apartment that I stay at last night, outside here at the club, it was like 8 or 9 degrees. And then when I got back to the apartment that I sleep at, it was 1 degree. So extremely, extremely cold. And I'm pretty sure it was the same thing the night before. So I was really trying to warm myself up on stage as much as I could before coming back outside. And so I was on stage for like an hour just going ham, trying to get my workout and stuff. And because I was really trying to warm my body up, I had the knee-high socks, the not knee-high, it's actually thigh-high. I had my I was wearing 4 pairs of socks, but 2 of those pairs of socks are thigh-highs. One of them is fishnet and one of them is, well, even the fishnet ones, it's only fishnet at the top and underneath it's a solid piece of sheer fabric. So AKA not pole climbing socks, socks that I would never try to climb the pole with ever. And then the wool pair of socks on top of that, they're thigh-high wool socks, but it's all one thick, solid piece of fabric. So again, pretty much the opposite of anything that you would want to try to climb the pole with. I mentioned before, somewhat recently, I've only climbed the pole with my socks rolled all the way up, all the way up my legs like that one time. And the time that I did that before, it was on accident. I didn't even realize I was doing it. I was just so tired and out of it that I didn't even realize. But once I did realize, I was like halfway up the pole and I realized, I felt how much more difficult it was for me to try to climb the pole that time. And I looked down and I realized my socks were still rolled all the way up. And I was like, well, no wonder it's so much harder right now for me to try to climb this thing. So then I kept going because I was already halfway there. So I kept climbing to the top. And when I got to the top, I was able to kind of like find a way to roll my socks down at the top of the pole, which obviously was not easy either. But then I said, after that happened, I came on here, I talked about it in one of my videos, and I was like, you guys, I can't believe I did that. I never in a million years would have thought it would be possible for me to climb the pole in those socks rolled up like that. And I was like, I specifically said, I was like, nobody could pay me any amount of money in the world for me to try to climb the pole with those socks rolled all the way up. Like, that's something that I would never do. For all the money in the world, I would never try to do that again. It was completely by accident that I did it the first time, and I never would have imagined that I would have been able to do it. So I don't know, but because I was on stage with that smoke going for so long last night, and at that point I was sweaty. I was really sweaty. I was just, my skin had that kind of like sweaty workout feeling where it's like just kind of expanded and swollen and sticking to stuff more, like sticking to clothes and just sticking to stuff more. So I was like, I did have my socks rolled all the way up at that point, and I was like, you know what? I guess I was feeling kind of froggy. I was like, let me just see if I can try to climb the pole with these socks rolled up right now. And up until that point, I thought that I would have never tried to do that. Again, even for all the money in the world, I was like, even for all the money in the world, I would never try to do that. But I guess maybe I shouldn't have said that before, because I did end up trying to do it at that time last night, and I did manage to do it. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe that I was able to do it. I was just shocked. And I was like, wow, I mean, just completely amazed. And then when I got to the top of the pole, I was like, should I try to go upside down and do pole tricks right now? And then thank gosh, I did not end up doing that. I was like, I didn't want to push it too much. You know what I mean? And I'm so glad that I didn't, because oh my gosh, that wouldn't have, no. It was already not good for me to try to climb the pole with the socks rolled up. Can't believe that I tried to do it, and really can't believe that I managed to do it. But, oh, actually, you know what, that time, so when I got to the top of the pole, I did still do pole tricks, but when I got to the top of the pole, I just rolled the socks down. So I was like, all right, I'll still go upside down on the pole, I'll still do pole tricks, but I'm at least gonna roll the socks down at the top of the pole, so that I didn't leave them rolled up doing the pole tricks, because that would have been too much for me. Like, I already was so convinced that it was too much for me to try to climb the pole with my socks rolled up in the first place. So yeah, but I still did the pole tricks. I perched up there at the top of the pole, rolled the socks down, and went upside down and did pole tricks. And I did have like a lot of other fabric and clothes on, you know, to try, ah! I have to go sign into the club. Oh God. Excuse me, be right back. The snow started. Oh. Holy crap. Oh man. The snow has started. So I feel like flakes were just coming into my car when I opened the door. Like, I hope they didn't land on my phone. I always get so freaked out about that. Anyways, yeah. Oh God. I have very little notes for this video today, and the few random weird ass things that I have written down, oh God, I don't know how to transition into this weird stuff. Like, if there was like a thing where they tried to say like, who's the weirdest person to ever exist, I'm probably not the weirdest ever, but I'm such a weirdo, I know, and it's just even to myself though, like, at least I had the self-awareness to be like, "Wow, I feel like it's 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 different though when people are weird, but they don't realize it. That's even weirder to me. Kinda like how they say crazy people don't know that they're crazy, but then other types of crazy people do know that they're crazy. Like, okay, so I'm obviously kinda crazy, but at least I'm aware of it. Like, I know that I'm crazy. Um, and, like, same thing with being weird, like, it seems weirder when people are just really weird but don't realize it, or don't seem to realize it. Like, I'm really weird, but I definitely realize it. I definitely realize it to where I'm like, "Holy crap, like, what's going on here?" Like, that's basically me. Um, okay, I'm gonna try to do this as best I can. I don't have much more that I wanna do today. There's a lot that I'm gonna keep pushing off to the side for next time or some other time. I did just shut my car off, so I no longer have the heat on in my car. It's gonna be getting it's already extremely cold. The snow is coming down now, so it looks like this next round of snowstorm has started. Um, I was saying yesterday how for quite a while now, ever since I realized when I first started doing live streams, the the option for people to leave live comments during the stream was left on, because I didn't realize that it was an option to shut it off, and I got a lot of really, like, rude, weird comments in the live comments, like, way more so than the regular comment section for my videos. There's just something about live comments that seems to be a whole different, like, thing, I guess, a whole different vibe. So, very much so from what I've noticed. But eventually after doing, after doing some live streams and getting some more practice with it, eventually I realized that it's an option to shut off the it's an option to shut off the live comments. So once I realized that was an option, I was like, "Yes," and I shut them off. Um, so yeah, partly because of the weird comments I had been getting, and then also because I get distracted and almost every single video and stream that I do, I'm coming into them with stuff that I want to say without being distracted by other random stuff that other people want to say. Um, but then lately I've been saying, I've also gotten some comments in the regular section where people are like, "Why don't you have your live comments on?" And so sometimes I feel kind of bad because people seem to want to be able to chat or yeah, I don't know. So, but like I try to be open-minded, and I was saying in my video yesterday that maybe for in the future for other types of like if I'm in a different kind of mood and maybe there's like a day where I just don't want to have to bother with my notes as much, like just kind of put my notes off to the side and like maybe I would do a stream in the future or try it out, kind of experiment with having the live comments back on. And I was saying how for streams like that, yeah, I would probably not want to have notes with stuff that I want to talk about, like, I don't know, as much specifically just myself. I think I would want to choose a different kind of specific topic and just have it be open to discussion for other people to chime in, like with their thoughts, opinions, input, that kind of stuff. And one of the topics that I was thinking about to maybe try to do that with in the future was just kind of like asking people about their location and where other people are from, where other people currently live or have lived before in the past, where people might think about moving to themselves. Because yeah, obviously the weather here where I am, I've always been in this general location, this kind of climate where it's pretty much winter most of the year. Weather is absolutely awful. Um, just awful. Could never try to put that into words. Just there's no way. You and trust me, you don't want to have to experience it to understand what I'm talking about. If you haven't had to, it's something you would never want to. It's not character building, it's not, or if it is, it's in a bad way. It destroys your mind, body, soul, spirit, character, everything. It's just complete. There's no word. I have to stop. Oh god, it's so awful. It's, so I would, maybe want to hear from other people, like, yo, is there anywhere out there that's actually a nice place to exist? Anywhere at all? Anywhere at all? Anybody chime in? Anywhere that's a nice place to be in the world? Does planet Earth have anywhere that's nice? A nice city, town, country, continent, anywhere? Or is it just planet Earth as a whole that's a complete shithole? Um, just hell, to just absolute horrendous. Anyway, so yeah, like other people out there, like, is there anybody, like, here's the microphone, say what you want to say. Is there anywhere that anyone can think of that's not awful? That would be a topic that I'd be interested in. Another topic, I was saying how I had another topic that I had thought of recently with that for live streams with the comments on the live comments, but I wasn't able to remember the other topic that I had thought of for that. And then it came back to me. I think it was in my notes, or I remembered later on, I don't know, last night, today. The chunks of snow, the flakes are really big now. When I said that a few minutes ago going into the club, they were like little like barely noticeable little specks. Now they're huge, huge like snowflake chunks. Like, so this should make for another interesting shift here tonight. I'm guessing it's probably going to be pretty slow, but maybe I will wear my snowflake shoes, my 8-inch snowflake shoes. I've shown them on my channel very recently. There's a picture of them in a thumbnail for one of my very recent videos, the snowflake shoes that I'm referring to. I added the snowflake decals all by myself, and I've always been so proud of how they turned out, and I've had them for years and years and years, and just the fact that they're still wearable so far. Anyway, the other topic that I was thinking about for maybe leaving the live comments on for a live stream was, so I talk a lot about how I really struggle as a dancer, I really struggle trying to hack it as a stripper. Never really done well at this club. I've never been in any other strip club, so I don't have anything to compare this club to. But there's a lot of things about this club that I like, but it's mostly, again, just like the people that are here, like mostly the other dancers, and a lot of the other employees too, but mostly the dancers. And some of the customers. It's just, a lot of times it can be good vibes here, great music, pretty good vibes. People my own age, the rest of the people in the state that I'm from, or that I've been in for a while now, it's like all old people mostly, and just kind of like conservative, like, not that that's a bad thing or anything, but clearly I'm kind of like a free spirit, and maybe like a little bit more new age kind of, I don't know, I like to have fun, you know what I mean? I really like to have fun. I always have, or try to have fun, so yeah, here at the club, I feel like it's more people with that kind of mindset mostly, and kind of like my peers, great music, and just fun a lot of the time. Obviously, though, I do struggle with a lot of stuff. I do have that really bad allergy to the smoke, and, I have a lot of trauma, a lot of like PTSD. Part of the reason I hate the smoke so much is also like PTSD type stuff. I almost died quite a few times, like 3 times when I was a teenager. One of those times was in a smoky room. So yeah, I have some trauma, I have some PTSD, I have, some issues. I really don't like drama. I try not to be dramatic about stuff, But it is difficult because at the same time, I do have quite a history of a lot of very difficult stuff, you know, a lot of trauma. So it's kind of a weird mix of me trying to override that stuff and not really focus on it. You know, try not to be overly dramatic about it, or like woe is me, or like a broken record always talking about it, although I know that I do. But it is a weird kind of try to like, it's weird to try to get that mix of like that balance of not harping on it too much, but also not completely ignoring it to where I don't deal with it. Like, I'm just the kind of person where I feel like in order to try to work through stuff and deal with things, a big part of that for me is just talking about that stuff, like actually having the guts and the courage to talk about it. So yeah, it's a weird kind of thing for me to try to find that balance, daring to talk about it, finding that courage to talk about that stuff, while at the same time trying not to talk about it too much or in a way that comes across as too dramatic or woe is me or a broken record. Although I know that I am kind of a broken record a lot of times with it, but at the same time, it's like I don't know what could ever happen to my channel in the future. Like other videos where I've mentioned stuff before, I hate to even think about this or say this out loud because it freaks me out so much. But if anything were to happen to my previous videos, the other videos that I've already done so far, what if I only had this one video or one other video in the future to say stuff? Like just because I've said stuff before doesn't mean that that would always be preserved or last, or you know what I mean? Anything could happen. So, and especially for me, like stuff that I've done throughout the years online, like I've lost so much of my work. I've lost so much of my writing, my poetry, previous pictures, pretty much anything that I try to do on my laptops or my phone. It feels like it's all just like messed with or hacked into. Stuff randomly goes missing, gets deleted a lot of times, and I just get really freaked out about stuff like that. So if I, when I do say stuff over and over, it's like I kind of just, and I don't know, I just feel like, well, you never know what could happen to stuff that I've said before or other videos. And also, a lot of my streams don't post properly, and a lot of my streams have got cut short. So it's like I've had to purposely say stuff multiple times. Like if I do a video and it doesn't post, then, and if I want to try to redo that video, obviously I don't want to, but if I make the choice to try to redo that video, I'm going to purposely have to say the same stuff all over again. And then in doing that, I've had to do that many, many times. So in doing that, it becomes a real mess up here to try to figure out like what I have already said, what I haven't, what I've already said on purpose versus what was just cut out or didn't post. It's a mess, obviously, but again, here we go. That's the visual. Um so anyway, what I was trying to say, what I am trying to say with that, I've always really struggled trying to be a stripper. There's a lot of things that I've been through, a lot of things about me and how I am as a person that really doesn't make for a very good stripper. Um, in a lot of ways, this is a very bad thing for me to be trying to do. But again, I love to be on stage. I love to dance. And I truly, genuinely feel that I have a talent for being on stage and for dancing. However, when it comes to trying to make money and treat this like a job, that is a very, very, very unsettling, extremely stressful. I don't like that concept. I especially struggle with that whole notion of trying to make money this way for so many reasons. But again, a lot of it has been the smoke machine and my allergy to that. But honestly, even besides that, I do really resent the whole notion of it. Not for other people, but for myself. I just know that it's not really, that aspect of this is just really not for me. It makes me really upset. I love to dance. I love to be on stage. But so with that being said, there is a website that I'm on that is like an adult type of website. I guess some people would call it webcamming, but you know, like this is on YouTube, I would call it streaming, where when I hear the word webcamming, it's still technically streaming, but when I specifically hear or use the word webcamming, I think of that more along the lines of an adult type of website. So I am on a site like that. However, I've also really struggled with that. I've had very bad results with that so far, for the most part. But something that I've thought about a little bit with that, in order to try to maybe possibly do a little bit better on that site, if I were to try to go back on there again in the future, I've kind of struggled with trying to decide if it would be worth the risk for me to maybe somehow kind of like casually try to mention which site I'm referring to here in my YouTube. I wouldn't want to do anything. I've mentioned a few times before, although it's been a while. This isn't something that I've mentioned before as much as other stuff that I talk about a lot on here, but you know, it's kind of crossed my mind, like maybe I should make a Facebook page that would talk more about that website, and I could at least put the link for the Facebook page here in my YouTube. So that way it would kind of be like a way for me to kind of have like a link to a link almost, or like not directly mention the specific website here on YouTube, but kind of show a way to find that website or to try to show a way to find out more about that for anyone that might be interested. But especially since the large majority of my videos are live streams, I don't have storage on my phone. I don't want to get a new phone. So I've been doing live streams for most of my videos for a while. So I'm really, really apprehensive about, you know, taking that risk and doing that, as far as like mentioning too much about the adult site that I'm on. So I've counted the videos on my channel before. It looks like I have 36 regular videos mostly from back when I first started my channel last year in August. So 36 regular videos, and I'm pretty sure that this video right here would be my 126th live stream. So I have well over 100 live streams in comparison to the 36 regular videos. So with the live streams, if I were to accidentally break any kind of rules that I'm not aware about with YouTube, as far as like mentioning more like adult industry related stuff, I get really freaked out thinking about like putting my channel at risk that way. Because again, so many of my videos are live, so if something were to happen to my video, that's so much work, that's so many videos, and most of those videos are pretty long as well, so that's a lot of time, that's a lot of work, you know. And then all the streams that I've had to try to redo that didn't post properly the first time. Yeah, it's a lot. So it's a lot for me to think about. So one of the other topics that I've been thinking about maybe leaving the live comments option on for, to try to get other people's thoughts, opinions, input about that thing, it would be just maybe trying to ask people about whether or not, like what they think basically about that, whether or not they think it's a good idea, or if they might have any idea as to whether that kind of thing is allowed on YouTube, or if they would even be interested in maybe hearing more about like a Facebook page, to try to like have more of a link from that, or a way to try to hear more about where else I can be found online. Mostly that specific website that I'm talking about, because other than that, than the website, the adult site that I'm referring to, I'm really not on very many other places online. I'm just really old school when it comes to that kind of stuff, I guess. I'm not on Instagram. I don't have PayPal, Venmo, whatever else other people do nowadays. There's all these weird apps and sites that I've kind of heard of, but I really don't even know what most of them are. I'm really not on anything other than YouTube, and I'm on Facebook, or I was, for like personal use, but even that, Facebook would just sign, again, with my stuff all being messed with, Facebook was just signing me out like by itself without me doing anything. Facebook, someone or something, whether it was somebody hacking into it or just Facebook itself doing something weird, yeah, Facebook was just signing me out. And I didn't want to be signed out, mind you. I wanted to stay signed in, but they were just signing me out. And then, I've had to reset my password on there many times, and to where I kind of just forget about it. And me trying to sign back in, I would ask them to send me the code so I could reset my password and sign back in, and they just weren't sending me the code to sign back in. So, yeah, I really struggle with stuff online. I really struggle with trying to figure out how to do stuff, or do stuff the right way, or just not have it be messed with and have things go properly, like the way that I intend, to have my work actually remain up and last and not, you know, get messed with or lost, taken down, hacked into, etc. It's talking about this is really difficult for me because it weighs on my soul. It really just drags me down, and it makes me so sad because I've had so much work in the past just get lost and messed with in various different forms. Yeah, my writing for my book, my writing for poetry, pictures, different other types of web pages, just all kinds of stuff, and it's just something that I have experienced a lot, just in so many different various ways. So anyway, yeah, that was maybe a topic I was thinking about possibly doing in the future for the live chats with the comments on the live comments. Just seeing what other people might think about that. I really don't want to take too many risks with this channel for my YouTube though, because yeah, it's like I feel like I already am being a stripper and talking about that and being so open and so honest about how I actually feel and what I actually think about being in the adult industry, which it's really a very difficult thing for me. And yeah, I have a lot of other very sensitive, difficult topics about, stuff that I've been through and stuff that I've experienced, and it's really difficult for me to try to talk about a lot of it. And also but then also taking that risk with not really knowing like what the gray area might be as far as like what's okay and what's allowed to be talked about on this website, on YouTube in particular, or any other website for that matter. Every website has its own rules and its own, many miles and like miles of gray area that kind of, like where the rules might seem to apply more to this person more than another, or this type of person or this group of people more than another. But yeah, especially being in the adult industry, a lot of times I feel like it's even more strict for that kind of thing, because of just the subject matter, the whole notion that can come, the stereotype, all that stuff that can go along with that, which I really struggle with and really resent in a lot of ways. But anyway, I really, honestly, because I have had a lot of other regular jobs in the past, none of which I've been able to hold down for very long. But I feel like I've always The reason I haven't been able to hold down other, like, more regular types of jobs before, it's not because of me not being a hard worker. I'm actually a very hard worker. I feel like I'm very ambitious and, like, again, like me here at the club, like, I'll be on stage when nobody else is going on, when I technically really wouldn't have to go on either probably if nobody else is. You know, I'll do all this extra time on stage and all this extra stuff that I really don't have to do to try to get a workout and just to try to keep myself well conditioned to almost like an athlete, you know, like just trying to stay with this and, you know, practice and practice and practice like my craft, as silly and as cheesy as that might sound, like, because I do love to dance and I feel like I have a talent as a dancer. So so I feel like the main reason I haven't been able to hold down other types of more regular kind of jobs is just because I have a lot of health issues, a lot of things that I really struggle with. So even though I'm a hard worker, even with other kind of jobs, I've been a really hard worker and I feel like I've gone above and beyond in many ways, but as far as the going beyond, there's really only so far that a person could get or go with those other kind of regular jobs that I've had, you know, because they were mostly like entry level, like kind of jobs, like, you know, hotels and restaurants and just stuff that people would be, the kind of jobs that people would be getting like pretty much as teenagers, like still in high school or just coming out of high school because, you know, a lot of stuff happened to me in high school and I did not graduate high school. So, I mean, I had a lot of really, yeah, difficult stuff happen during that time, especially, but also afterwards and ever since then as well, and before then. So pretty much just all throughout the times that I've had. Um, and so, but what I'm trying to say with that, I really, really would love to be able to do well with the website that I'm on, the other website, the more like adult kind of website. You know, to be able to work from whatever place that I might be still staying at the time, to be able to not have to go out as much in the snowstorms, you know, to be able to just, I don't know. I've always, ever since I found out about that site and tried to sign up on it, I wanted so much to just have that hope that maybe I could someday do well on there. Kind of like with the dancing, like, you know, if only I could just make this work for me. I think it could maybe be a good option for me. Um, I would really, and still to this day, it's weird because I think a lot of the, well, I know a lot of the reason I don't go on that website, even though I've been signed up on it for many years, I always chicken out, and a lot of the reason I keep chickening out and haven't gone on it is because the few times that I have gone on that site in the past, I feel like really weird, bad stuff happens directly afterwards. And like really weird stuff. It's very, very unsettling. And yeah, it's like I kind of I don't even really want to say it on here because it just sounds like me being crazy or me just being dramatic or I don't know. It doesn't even sound real or possible. A lot of this stuff. Just okay, I'm going to try to say this part as quickly as I can. I think I've maybe mentioned this once or twice before, but it's been a while since I've mentioned this part. But what I have mentioned recently is that the refrigerator back at the place that I'm staying at has been shut off for a while. Because I've noticed stuff going missing from my apartment before, and my car, and my locker at the club. So when it became more apparent to me, however many years ago, with stuff going missing from my apartment, at first I kind of assumed that it was my landlord, and I kind of just freaked out. I shut my fridge off and started using it as basically like a safe. Oh, it's 4:30 on the dot. Um, you know, I put a lot of my more valuable stuff in there, like my laptops and my laundry, like my favorite clothes, non-perishable food items that don't need to be refrigerated and that kind of stuff. And I wrapped an electrical cord around it. I locked it up. So I mentioned that again recently. But so basically, when I last went on that adult website, last year, I think it was like May or June, so like last spring, I remember I was going on there a few different times around that time period, like for spring with May and June. And there was a time that I went on there, I went on that site on a Saturday, and I had something that I showed on camera, like something that just to try to like, I was using it like a okay, well, like a microphone or, okay, so when after that stream on Saturday, I came into the club the following Sunday, the very next day, the very next night. I did a shift here at the club on Sunday, right after doing that stream the night before. And when I got back to the apartment, the fridge that I have locked up with stuff in there was something, the thing that I showed on camera was in the fridge, and that particular thing had not been in there. So it was almost like, rather than somebody somehow getting into the fridge and taking something out, somebody had gone as far as to kind of do the opposite, I guess. Like they still somehow got into the fridge. At that time, I had 2 locks on the fridge. Right now, there's just one because I'm just like, whatever. But back then, there were 2 locks. So it seemed like somebody still was able to get in there. And rather than taking something out that time, they put something in there. And it was the thing that I had on camera. And that is just beyond anything that I could ever try to like understand, comprehend, wrap my head around, or even believe in the first place. It really does feel like that gaslighting kind of concept where I'm like, that couldn't have even actually happened. I must just really be crazy and maybe just imagine that. Like, there's no way that kind of thing would actually happen. But I'm pretty sure it did. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I was just so tired and so stressed out that I was just confusing, or maybe I am wrong. Maybe it didn't actually happen, but again, I'm pretty sure it did. And obviously that's just weird. That's really, really very bizarre, very just, at that point, I just don't know what to do with anything, about anything. But there's been other instances kind of similar to that, like where it's just too weird to where it's like, what could possibly be the point of that other than to just mess with me? Or, and then there was another time that after being on that stream, I almost got into a car accident shortly after that, where somebody almost T-boned me at an intersection right here near the club. And it didn't end up happening, thankfully, but it almost did. And if I had a green light, if I had gone through that green light, once the light turned green, they would have hit me. I just, for whatever reason, had this weird feeling because the other cars next to me were already starting to go, but I was the first one. Like, there were 2 lanes, so the cars to my right were starting to go, and I was the first in line for the lane that I was in, but I just kind of had a feeling to just slow down and pause, and it's a good thing that I did, because to my left, somebody went zooming through that intersection, and it was difficult for me to have seen them. It was like a gray kind of truck, so it was like a gray cloudy day, so their vehicle kind of like blended in with the surroundings, and yeah, difficult to see. It's not that I saw them, it's that I had a feeling. I didn't stop because I saw their vehicle. I stopped because I had that intuition, that sense to just pause. But I mean, that happened right after I had done a stream. And somebody on the website right before that happened, or maybe after, right around that same time, the screen name that they had was like a tin can. So like, my dancer name is Tinka, and their screen name was like a tin can. or like a beer can. So like a beer can, when I think of like a beer can, I think of a beer can being crushed, like crumpled up. And just thinking like a beer can, I kind of thought of my car, like if that truck had hit me, my car probably would have crumpled like a beer can, you know, because like cheap metal crumples, like tin is a cheap metal, it's cheap. So tin crumpled like a beer can because it's a cheap metal that crumples easily because it's cheap. And it's just, you know, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but when stuff like that happens, that is kind of the way the brain seems to work a lot of times. Like it'll just take any other thing that happens, it'll just take it to these weird different places and levels where it might not otherwise. But any little thing, it's like, oh, like everything just ends up feeling like a bad omen or like being messed with or just being messed with basically. Like, so I have, it's already scary enough for just because of how I am to try to dare to be on an adult website like that. But, you know, the few times that I've dared to go on there, it's like these bad kind of weird things seem to happen directly afterwards or like just right around that same time that seem to tie in to me going on that site to where it's like, just kind of, it scares me away. It scares me away from doing that even more. But at the same time, yeah, I've never been able to hold down like a regular job for very long. I don't really do well at all here at the club. So I would still want to like maybe I could make that website work for me anyways. Like maybe I could still just cling on to that little tiny bit of hope that maybe I could just regardless still find a way to do well on there and dare to go back on there and do well and get people to want to come see me and watch me on there in a good way, you know, in a way that could actually be positive and not just to mess with me or make fun of me or leave mean comments and troll or whatever they call it, you know, like. But so I'm gonna try to wrap this up in a minute. Oh, there's Pistachio. There's a floor host that I call Pistachio, because he looks like a pistachio. In a good way. I love pistachios. And his name does start with a P as well. So anyways, one of the things that I have written down that I want to talk about that's kind of off topic a little bit from what I normally talk about. Well, my name here on my channel is Stripper for President, and every now and then I'll talk about things that I think a future president should be maybe like talking about, or like a subject or issue that maybe they could or should address. Like junk mail, for instance. I feel like junk mail doesn't need to be a thing. Like it's a waste of money, it's a waste of resources, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Another thing, I do like airplanes, like I was mentioning earlier. I am interested in, I hate to fly. I'm terrified to actually fly, but I'm still pretty fascinated by flight, by airlines and by airplanes and that kind of thing, pilots. And so I watch a lot of stuff about that on YouTube from time to time. And there was a movie that I had watched recently where there was a situation with an airline where something was going on, something was up, and the plane was looking like it was going to crash into a public busy area. So the president at the time, and in this movie, the president was actually a female, and she was being asked by other like higher up types people that had like, that were like in command of stuff and like trying to decide what to do. But she was being asked by them, like, what are we going to do? Are we going to shoot down this plane so that it doesn't land in a populated area? And they were having to make those tough decisions like that. It kind of reminded me of September 11th when they said the United Flight 93. United Flight 93, there's like, it's said that it came down on its own, when the passengers tried to overtake the terrorists that had taken over that plane. Other people seem to have more of this conspiracy theory that maybe it was shot down by the government in order to try to prevent it from crashing into another like government building or like populated area. So there's conflicting theories, I guess, that can go along with that kind of story. But I was just thinking, personally, in my opinion, if I were the president and I had to make a decision like that, my personal opinion is to never shoot down a passenger plane, to never shoot down a commercial airliner. In my opinion, what I think should be done in that situation is for as much as they can try to gather where that plane might be headed, assuming that they have a general idea of where that plane might be headed and where it might end up crashing, just try to let as much of that area be notified and be aware of that situation as much as possible. And then it should be up to the people what they want to do if they want to evacuate. And if possible, they should try to have areas available, like maybe underground or wherever it might be the safest place to try to get people. But obviously, like, oh, it could cause a panic. But just in my opinion, I think people should be able to be made aware of that kind of thing. And decide what they want to do. Obviously, most people are probably going to try to get out of that area. So if they're worried about the plane crashing into a government building, the people in that building should obviously try to evacuate. And same thing with as many areas around there as within as close proximity to that area, pretty much anywhere else in proximity to the area, they would probably want to evacuate too. And wherever they want to go, it should be up to them probably. Again, unless there's like a spot that could be safer that people could have the option to try to get to or made available to them might be an option too, possibly. But I just hate the thought of a passenger plane being shot down like that. I feel like that should, I don't know, that just breaks my heart. That's just, because I don't know, I guess the way that I see it, buildings can be rebuilt. Yes, it might cost money and tax dollars, but they can still be rebuilt. I mean, the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers, that was rebuilt into the One World Trade Center. That obviously cost money to rebuild it, but they did it. They rebuilt the building. You know, but there were still so many lives lost when the planes crashed into those buildings. So, yeah, to just try to get whatever building they think might be a target or the plane might be headed towards in that area, just get any of those buildings evacuated as quickly and as much as possible. And so that people in the general areas there, near there, are aware of that and they can decide probably where they want to go or what they want to do to try to protect themselves. But say the plane did crash into a building, assuming that that building would be able to be evacuated in time, the building can be rebuilt, you know. Yeah, it would take time and money and effort, but that's just how things go sometimes. But to purposely have a passenger commercial airliner shot down like that, like I can't imagine having to make that decision or give that kind of order to do that to a passenger plane full of people, you know. But again, I do try to be open-minded, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I probably just, well, I know there's obviously a lot of stuff that I don't know or understand. So, but this is the kind of thing, okay, so this is the kind of thing where I might want to have a live chat with the live comments, because I could be completely in the wrong here. I could just be naive, and maybe there's other people out there that would be like, you're so wrong. Like, this is why we should shoot it down instead. This is why we should just shoot it down instead. And if somebody else, if other people might have like a conflict, or I would just want to hear what other people would think about that. I'm really curious as to what other people would have to say, what other people think, how other people feel about that kind of thing. And maybe my opinion could be swayed. I don't know, but just as of right now, just my natural response and way to feel about that would be like, oh my gosh, I would never want to have to shoot down a passenger plane. Like that would be so far for like the last resort. Like, try to do anything you can to not have to shoot down a passenger airliner like that. You know what I mean? But anyway, so that's just kind of something that I had written down that I kind of randomly wanted to mention. Because yeah, I do find planes really fascinating and just stuff like that. And my name here in my channel is Stripper for President. So when I saw that movie, I was like, oh, that's something I might want to mention and talk about. But now that I am mentioning it and talking about it, I'm like, oh, that could also be maybe a topic for a live chat with the live comments on, to just get more of an idea, more opinions, more ideas from other people, what they might think and how they might feel. I think that could be an interesting thing to have open for discussion. So anyways, it is really cold in here and my phone battery is almost gone. So it is 4:45 on the dot. I started the stream at 3 o'clock on the dot. Depending on how, oh, now it's 4:46. Depending on how the snowstorm goes for the rest of today and tonight, I'm not too sure if I'm gonna have time or if I'm gonna be able to find the time, make the time to come on and stream tomorrow. But hopefully, I have been pretty good about also being able to work Wednesdays here at the club for a little while now lately. So I would like to still try to come in as well tomorrow and do Wednesday. Yeah, again tomorrow. Hopefully I will be able to do that, but if not, I'm definitely going to try to come back on here at some point again this week. Oh, and I still have 2 protein bars. I have 2 Built bars in my bag that I was saying that maybe I could do a protein bar review for tonight or tomorrow. So yeah, maybe I could come back on, actually maybe I could come back on later tonight and do one of those protein bar reviews with you guys from the club. So I'll try to remember that. I hope I don't forget. I'm sure I'll remember if I open my bag and see the protein bars right there in my bag. So yeah, that could be a fun thing to do later on tonight. Again, we are supposed to have a snowstorm tonight, so I'm kind of assuming that the club will probably be pretty slow again. Especially if it was already slow last night and the night before without the snowstorm. Tonight with the snowstorm, I would kind of think that it would probably be very slow. So upside of that is maybe I'll be able to find time to come on and do that protein bar review for, well, one of those protein bar reviews for one of those protein bars with you guys. But until next time, I hope you guys are well and staying warm, and peace out for now.